Hey all, welcome to the blending mode class at Hummy's World, and this lesson is on the linear burn blending mode. And as we take a peek here at the blending modes, we've been going through them in order, and we're down to the linear burn, and that is in this group that darkens. Now, of the group that darkens, the multiply, which we've already reviewed, and the linear burn, I think, are the two most used. As we've said before, it's all in the math, and sometimes understanding the math for some people helps you see how the program calculates it to determine what the color is. So the linear burn adds the value of 2 layers and subtracts 255. And blending with white makes no change. Now we found that out with all of the darkened ones that the blending white makes no change. And that's always important to note. If you have white in your one of or the other of your layers, it's not going to make any change. It's going to stay the same. But let's take a peek at this. And so you're going to remember this one, and I've changed it back, is 128. I keep going back between 126 and 128. Let's see. 255 divided by 2 is 127.5. I mean, it technically should be 127.5. I don't know where I got off track in the previous videos and I changed it to 126. But the 50% grayscale is about 128. I want to peek at that again. Yes, 50%. This is here, the B and the HSB is at 50. So let's go ahead and grab our calculator, which I accidentally closed out, and go ahead and do the 128. What did it say? It added the two together, plus 128 is 256. And then what did it say? I gotta go back and see what it said the math was. And subtracts 255. So then we're going to do a minus 255, and that equals 1. And so when it blends with this 50% gray, it's going to blend as a 1, which is really close to 0, which is black. And of course, if we did the math for the black, that would be 0 plus 0, minus 255. You're going to get a negative 255, which you can't really do. It's just going to be black. If you do the white was 255. 255 plus 255 minus 255, you end up with 255. So you can see where the math is coming from in this. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what linear burn does. And there we have it. This is the 1 and this is the 0. You can see they're almost alike. Almost all of the colors on 2/3 will turn darker. And then from there, there's this gradual slide to where it makes no change at all. But you can see it really makes almost everything a little bit darker. I think that's why linear burn sometimes is used so much with custom drop shadows. You can use the linear burn blending mode because it will make almost everything darker wherever that drop shadow is, and that's the whole point of a drop shadow, is to make it darker as the shadow goes. So keeping in mind white makes no change, and everything else, almost everything else, gets darker. Here is my sample. And I don't have really a whole lot of tips for you with this one, simply because the texture I made with this was so yummy and just turned out so perfect. I didn't feel a need to play with it. Isn't this a yummy texture? So everybody is downloading this texture, and I'm trying to zoom in. Won't let me zoom in. Not sure why. Let's hit save. There we go. So yeah, this is a real yummy texture, and it's got dark around the edges, but you see it's got a lot of white spots, a lot of white texture mixed in with the black, so it's almost kind of a chalky texture. It's really yummy and perfect for this, and you see it's darker kind of around the edges, and so that's going to make a nice texture around the edges. So it's great with this linear burn. It just, bam, all of a sudden kind of makes it cool, just like that. And I didn't feel any need to go back and do anything more. I just loved it as it was. It even, I do not know why it's making me save before I can zoom in. But it even, look at how yummy it did. See with the lettering. I'm trying to decide how to describe it, but the mixture, the texture of the white and the darker color all in every spot really made it yummy, made the texture show up. It is just nothing else that you almost need to do with this unless you, you know, want to clone some of it here or there to put the dark areas in a different spot. So I guess you could do that. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that and maybe show that as a tip. Ooh, look at that. That could be really cool too. Remember, you want to start with the light photo before we play with the clone tool, because it's going to make everything dark. So this photo was almost overexposed. I took this photo in Hawaii this is the look from our bedroom window. And that just made it yummy. Yummy's a good word. But if we want to use the clone tool, I'm going to get the clone stamp tool, and I got my caps lock on. There we go. And I'm going to use my bracket key to make the brush a little bit larger. And let's just say I wanted some more of this darker color in around the tree. And I'm going to hold down the Alt key and click where I want to copy from, and then just kind of, you know, add it going up the tree areas. Let's see, let's get some from over here. You don't want to grab from the same spot each time. You want to, because then you get this repeating thing. Control Z, I don't want that in there. You want from different areas so that you can. So let's say that's more what I was looking for, because I wanted it grungier and darker in there. And so you can use the you know, clone tool in that way to kind of change different areas depending on what you're going for. But the original was just good enough for me. And that's it. And so I want everybody to take the same texture and use just the linear burn. You can use any of the other techniques that I've shared with you. You know, if this was too light, I could take the levels, or too dark, and adjust the levels. And, you know, maybe that's what I wanted to do. Maybe that with the linear burn on it. You know, you just play around. You see, that's ugly. That didn't work. But, you know, oops. Let's use the opacity and lower this down a little bit. I mean, you can do, here we go, using that slider. Now, that looks kind of cool. That's kind of actually almost as cool as the other. It's softer. So, and all I did was click around and play with the adjustment layers. So, but I like the original best. It's yummiest. Because this is actually sand down in here, and it just kind of gives it a frame of sand all around. I don't know. I am anxious to see what you do with this yummy texture. Did I say yummy enough? Bye all.